the University of Cincinnati, graduated there in political science, and then I ended up in music for 20 years, pioneering.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Joel? I think we lost Joel. He was just telling us about the music business. Dang it. Dang it, I love live radio. I'm going to try this again. It is the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar show. Coast to coast, to border, all over the World Wide Web over there on 50-plus stations across the U.S. and Canada.
Your call has been forwarded to an
voicemail! It's the death. I don't like voicemail. I don't like voicemail. Dun, voicemail. You can get a hold of us at jiggyjaguar.com, coast to border. What is a Masonic Jew? The growing conversions of completed Jews. What is this?
I owe most everything to football, which I've spent the greater part of my life in. And I have never lost my respect, my admiration, nor my love for what I consider a great game. And each Sunday after the battle, one group savors victory, another group lives in the bitterness of defeat. The many hurts seem a small price to pay for having won, and there's no reason at all which is adequate for having lost. The winner, to the winner, there is 100% elation, 100% laughter, 100% fun. And to the loser, the only thing left for him is a 100% resolution, a 100% determination. And it's a game, I think, a great deal like life, and that it demands a man's personal commitment, B, toward excellence, and B, toward victory. Even though you know that ultimate victory can never be completely won, yet it must be pursued with all of one's might. And each week, there's a new encounter, each year, a new challenge. But all of the rings and all of the money and all of the color and all of the display, they linger only in the memory. But the spirit, the will to win, and the will to excel, these are the things that endure. And these are the qualities, of course, that are so much more important than any of the events that occasion it. And I'd like to say that the quality of any man's life has got to be a full measure of that man's personal commitment to excellence and to victory, regardless what field he may be in.
Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or venture by raising many small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically via the internet. Musicians, filmmakers, and artists have successfully raised funds and fostered awareness through crowdfunding. Now you can raise money for your professional or personal project, idea, charity, invention, or business. Crowdfunding success is yours with our complete system, resources, and support. Most fundraising projects fall far short of reaching their financial goals. We're here to help you every step of the way to get you the money you need. Our team has the talent to guide, design, promote, market, and host your crowdfunding campaign. We'll help your campaign be seen and heard by millions of people, giving you the best chances of success to reach your funding goal. It's just $5 to get started with your crowdfunding campaign. Whether you're a nonprofit organization, wanting to start or expand a business, have an idea or invention, are a musician, artist, author, or filmmaker, have a friend or charity you want to raise money for, crowdfunding success can be yours with our system. Order our crowdfunding success gigs today, exclusively at Fiverr.com.
The world-famous Jiggy Jaguar show, we are back. I think we've got Joel Chernoff with us. Joel, are you there?
I'm there, Jiggy.
Okay.
I don't know what in the world.
I don't know. We were talking to you about the music business, and then we lost
Yeah,
you.
we went into cell phone warp.
And then I tried to call you back, and it kept going to voicemail, but we got you.
You know,
You gotta love technology.
Calling me, but
You gotta love technology.
I'm here.
Now, finish where you left off. You said you were in the music industry.
Yeah, and we formed a group. There were two of us at the beginning of the contemporary Christian music era there in the early 70s.
Yes.
And we formed a group called Lamb, and we pioneered the Messianic Jewish sound, but it was a contemporary rock sound, and we were at the top of the charts for many years. And then we toured for 20 years and then stopped. And so we then went from there to I then went into full-time ministry. I kept doing some concerts. I was doing maybe about 15 to 30 concerts a year, but I began serving the Messianic Jewish community nationally and internationally as the General Secretary of the Messianic Jewish Alliance of America, the MJAA, and so I took the position. It was a very small organization at that point, and we've grown quite a bit over the last 20 years. And we've done over $100 million worth of humanitarian aid to Israel, and we're working in Ethiopia with the Ethiopian Jews, trying to help them come home. And so I serve the Messianic Jewish community nationally in this capacity as their CEO.
Joel Chernoff with us today here on the broadcast. What is a Messianic Jew, the growing conversions of completed Jews? Explain this to me, because I'm not Jewish. I got to get my head wrapped around this thing. Explain this to our listening audience.
It is very simple. A Messianic Jew is simply a Jewish person, born Jewish, has Jewish lineage, that believes Jesus, or Yeshua, as we call him, which was his Hebrew name, Jesus is the Jewish Messiah. That is a Messianic Jew. And a Christian is simply a non-Jewish person that believes Jesus is the Messiah. So it's just two different groups of people. One is Jewish. A Messianic Jew is simply a Jew that believes in Jesus, and a Christian is a non-Jew that believes in Jesus.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. When you break it down, it is pretty simple.
Yeah. Now, of course, the Messianic Jew, many of us worship in Messianic synagogues, which are open to everybody, just as the church is open to everybody.
Yeah.
The Messianic synagogue is open to everybody, and the Messianic synagogue is simply a Jewish expression of faith in the Messiah, Jesus, Yeshua. Even as the early apostles, Peter, Paul, Philip, James, all of the early believers were Jewish, and in fact it was our people, the Messianic Jews, that were the progenitors of the faith, and we took the gospel, the good news, out to the Greek world, the Roman world, and the non-Jewish world. That was our faith. It was the faith of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the prophets, and the apostles. And of course, we continue the line. God is pouring out His Spirit again upon us. For many centuries, there were just a few of us. Now there are hundreds of thousands, and the most recent study that I saw put that figure at close to 2 million, 1.5 to 2 million Messianic Jews worldwide. Hey, Jiggy, in 1967, there were 0 Messianic synagogues. And today there's probably close to 1,000 worldwide. So it's grown quite a bit.
It has grown quite a bit. What do you attribute to that growth?
Well, of course, the Scripture, the prophets say and predict that in the latter days, God would physically restore Israel and spiritually restore Israel. And you know, when God says it's time, it's time. And so in 1948, He physically restored the nation of Israel, and the state of Israel came into being miraculously after almost 2,000 years. No other
people group has ever been dispersed out of their original land grant or homeland, and then brought back and established as a nation again. The Jewish people were the first ones that became independent again. And so the State of Israel was formed in 1948. At the same time, within 20 years, in 1967, God began to pour out His Spirit upon us as a people. In the Jesus People revival started in the late 60s, that revival was different than any other revival of the past couple thousand years. Why? Because it included the Jewish people. Tens of thousands of young Jewish hippie kids spontaneously, not because of any program or anything. God just simply moved supernaturally upon our people, and many of us were saved or became redeemed and began to follow Yeshua back in the late 60s, early 70s, and it has grown and grown and grown ever since. In other words, God is fulfilling prophecy.
We've got Joel Chernoff with us today here on the program, and I've seen some of your past television appearances online. You are a snappy dresser, my friend. I will, I will have to say, whoever your tailor is, double whatever the hell you're paying him. Joel Chernoff with us today. What is a Messianic Jew? The growing conversions of completed Jews. And Joel's made himself available today to talk about this. Joel's the CEO of the world's oldest and largest organization, the MJAA and the IMJA. What is the difference between these two organizations?
Well, first of all, these are the oldest voice institutions representing the Messianic Jewish community.
Yeah.
The Messianic Jewish Alliance of America simply represents the Messianic Jewish community here in the United States. The international, the IMJA, or the International Messianic Jewish Alliance, represents 18 countries, including the MJAA, including the Messianic Jewish Alliance of America. So the IMJA is worldwide, but the MJAA, the one here in the United States, happens to be by far the largest Messianic Jewish voice institution for the Messianic Jewish community, just in terms of budget, numbers of people involved, synagogues, ministry rooms, and so forth.
Joel Chernoff with us today. And what do you make of the situations over in the Middle East and how that affects the Jewish faith and everything?
Well, first of all, you have to understand, if God brought our people back and established them, anybody, as it says in the book of Isaiah 54, the prophet says there, if anybody comes against you in the latter days, they will fall because of you. One of the ways God oftentimes judges the enemies of Israel, as you see in the Scriptures, the pages of the Scriptures, is that He turns them against each other. And I have been watching this phenomena, the so-called Arab Spring, through a prophetic grid or a biblical grid, and it's very interesting to see that the Arab, Muslim, and radical Muslim countries are turning inside out against each other. The enemies of Israel coming against each other, the Sunnis, the Shias within the Muslim world. You just see it now burgeoning in Egypt. It's absolutely a phenomenon to see what's happening in Syria as they're killing each other by the tens of thousands. This is a Sunni-Shia confrontation. This is an internal Muslim internal issue. And it's gone transnational. And so you see it being fought on Syrian soil, but it is actually Arab against Arab, Muslim against Muslim. Israel's just trying to stay out of it. They just want to stay out of everybody's way. But they are absolutely turning against each other and killing each other. I don't know what the number is now, 130,000, 140. I mean, it's unbelievable what you see on YouTube. I I mean, both of the sides are filming it. I mean, they are filming the atrocities, the torture, the battles live. It's unbelievable what is going on over there, and I believe, Jiggy, that this is judgment on those enemies of Israel that would seek otherwise to destroy Israel and to try to come against God's purposes and plans. That's just my personal opinion.
We've got a great guest with us today. Joel Chernoff joins us, and Joel is a highly, highly respected individual in his field. He is also a singer-songwriter. We were talking a little bit about that earlier. Several top 10 recordings on the Christian pop charts. That's amazing, amazing stuff.
Yeah. Back in the 70s, it was just getting going. It's very, very interesting. Nobody knew what we were doing. All these young hippie-type kids that were accepting the Messiah, both Jewish and non-Jewish, but we were singing Hebrew and English, but it was in a very, for that day and age, hip, contemporary folk rock medium. And so people loved it. They didn't know if we were singing in tongues or what it was, but it was actually a little bit Hebrew in there. And it just caught on. The people just loved the sound, loved the music, and it propelled Messianic Jewish music, which did not exist really prior to Lamb, and it propelled it right into the top of the charts, and so it spread very quickly. It really helped to spread Messianic Judaism, so to speak, or the renewed faith in the Messiah, which, by the way, Jiggy, we would not say we have converted to anything. We are Jews that believe in the Messiah. This is the faith that our forefathers generated and promoted throughout the world. So in a sense, we're coming back to our own faith. We are coming to embrace the faith of our forefathers who took the good news of the Messiah out to the world, the rest of the world.
That is an amazing, amazing piece of business there. We have Joel Chernoff with us today here on the program. And Joel has been doing all sorts of different things. And the music is, I want to kind of chat a little bit more about the music here. What impact does your music have on folks when you play at concerts or when you've done things in the past with musical performances? Tell us about the impact that it has on folks.
Well, of course, in the 70s, it was all pop, and it was a very young crowd. As it's gone into the 80s and beyond, our sound in the 70s has become standard Messianic worship and praise sung not just in Messianic synagogues, but also in churches around the world. We were the first, and we created the sound, and popularized it. But actually, there have been many groups who have come after us, and many artists who have sung Messianic-type songs, and it's just a staple, really, in the church world, even, as they do Messianic dance-type songs and other songs that are reflecting or sound like Messianic music. When we do concerts, of course, it's a celebration of our, and we have a lot of dance in it. A lot of Jewish people love to dance, and they do it in a good way, in a corporate way, and so people just love to do the Jewish style dances, the circle dances, and so we popularize that, and that has also, that form of dance has come back into the body of the Messiah all over the world. Everybody, every ethnic expression of faith in the Messiah, whether it's Messianic Judaism or Christianity, loves it because, listen, David danced before the Lord. Our Jewish people danced. There was dance in the temple. It was just a physical expression of a spiritual relationship.
Well, I appreciate you making time for us today, Joel. We have just plain run out of time, but I thank you, sir.
God bless you, man.
Well, this has been
to everybody out there.
A great conversation. I definitely want to have you back in the next couple months and give us an update on what's going on, and maybe we can talk about some things going on in the news.
Oh, no problem, man. They're in 2 months, God only knows what will have happened.
Exactly. and
Crazy.
and
Crazy.
you are a heck of a guy, and I wanna thank you for being on with us today. Thanks, man.
Blessings and blessings to everybody out there in your audience. Shalom to you.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day, sir. Appreciate it.
Shalom. Bye-bye.
It is Joel Chernoff, and it is the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar show. We are going to take a quick time out here. When we come back, we'll wrap it up from the Transmedia Worldwide Studios in the great Salt City, Hutchinson, Kansas. We're back after this.